On this edition of Ask Mr. Greenthumb, we're going to be discussing the second part with Michael Lange, the owner of Black Kow, going over some of the important things that helps make cow manure. What are some of the things that you are hoping to talk to with him today?
Well, Michael brings forth some of the ideas today that the viewer gets to see about how they put everything together. And I was kind of amazed how automated it is. You'll see how they take it from nothing to bagging it and all the machines involved, and kind of an interesting process.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
Come grow with Stan and James DeFreitas on the Ask Mr. Greenthumb show. We hope to enlighten your senses with new ways to plant healthy greenery. You too can get the Greenthumb blessing. Come grow with Stan and James DeFreitas on the Ask Mr. Greenthumb show.
Well, Michael, we are so happy that you let us into your plant here, and to me it's interesting. You've got all this machinery going, and I guess I had no real concept just of how big and how much stuff is going on. Tell me a little bit about what we have back here.
The old days to the new days.
I mean, the old days they were probably putting it in with a shovel in ancient beginnings. I don't know. I mean, how did that start?
I remember putting cow manure in bags with shovels.
Did you really?
Yep, and now, so today the machine does everything without anybody touching it.
Wow.
We still have to have people watch the machine and make sure the weights are good and make sure the bags are sealed and the machine runs right.
Right.
But other than that, the machine does a good portion of the work.
Now, this was started, what, 1969?
Yes.
And so back then it was maybe bag into a bag with a shovel and pretty labor intensive. And today I see now you've got guys to repair the machines.
Yes, and watch the machines. But yeah, when it started in Tampa, it was scrape the manure up and use hands and shovels, and
wow,
it grew from there.
But now you were still turning
fast.
it and making it hot and that type of thing back then?
Yes.
You still had that
We
same
would-
process that we saw before?
We would turn with front end loaders.
Okay.
And then I think it was in the 80s, probably when the windrow turner first got developed, and we started using the windrow turners that you saw.
We saw the turning it
back there that actually aerate it and add oxygen and
water necessary.
speed up the compost process.
Well, that's cool.
Yes.
And so now this process today, I see you're moving. How many bags are you moving per hour or day, or does that vary?
This machine will run 1,000 or a little more than 1,000 bags an hour.
Wow.
So in the spring, we'll run this machine 12 hours a day, long as we can.
So when people really get to putting out their plants, you've got the product ready for them.
Yes.
That's important. We mentioned too that organics are important in that they help hold water and they help hold nutrients. So even when people are using other fertilizers, and they may, no doubt, it's really important to have that good soil, and that's where Black Kow comes in.
Yes, yeah, so the organic matter will hold moisture and other fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, the nutrients that are in Black Kow. It holds it in the sandy soil, and then it lets it release slowly over time. And the microbes from the compost will actually help break down the fertilizer nutrients in the chemical fertilizer.
So I would think you have, what, billions of organisms in each bag, probably?
Something like that.
So they're buying billions.
We don't count them individually.
No,
but
not
yeah.
each one, you don't tag them, but billions in every bag. So that's something that you don't get, let's say, with a strictly chemical fertilizer. Strictly chemical fertilizer, it's there, it works, and hopefully you've got everything else that breaks it down further.
Right.
And
chemical is just nutrients.
Right.
Right.
Yes, nutrients.
And the organic definitely has the microbes and the life to add to the soil and the organic matter.
Well, I see some of the fertilizers today too that have the organics will have like feather meal and blood meal and bone meal, what I'd call all natural organic sources that maybe work a little slower, but also usually feed over a much longer period of time.
Yes, yeah, those are good sources of even more nutrients or different nutrients. I would say that that definitely help everything grow. Composts is, if the compost is made from a good source, then the good microbes outcompete the bad microbes, the ones that cause the odors and other pathogens. And then you wind up with the good microbes in the compost. And so by adding a little bit of Black Kow or another compost or mushroom compost, you get a stronger variety of microbes.
Okay. I know Jody was saying that they get the temperature out there when he was showing us the aerator that up to about 130 degrees by using, they have a thermometer that you guys use.
Yes.
And he says if they can get to that, then they can kill off the bad guys and still leave the good guys can still live under that kind of condition.
Right. I think what we've seen is the good microbes can survive up to like 180 degrees, and they thrive on oxygen. So as you turn the compost rows, the pathogens and what we call the bad microbes that cause odor actually will die off, and the good microbes that can survive the 140-degree temperatures multiply. And then when they get added to the soil and fertilizers added and other carbon or nitrogen sources, they come back to life and
Start to multiply.
Multiply again. Yeah.
So it's important to have the good guys working for you, and that's where Black Kow is on the good guy team, right?
Yes.
You know, Michael, when I look at your plant here, and I see it goes from here to here to here to here, and I can't hardly keep track of it, but I bet since it's your baby, I bet you can give me an idea of where it goes. Where does it come in from outside to the final packaging over here? How does that work?
Well, so once the compost is finished, which is about a 12-week process, then we cure it in the larger piles that you saw out back. And that's probably another 2-month to 3-month process as the piles get rotated up to the plant. Then goes from there to the hopper that you saw out back. We run it over a screen. Any large pieces of manure or wood that would get screened out of the machine, we run it under a magnet that pulls out any possible nails or anything from the
Horseshoes.
horseshoes, the dairies, the feed lots, cow lots. It goes up the conveyor to the bagging machine, or what we call a form, fill, and seal machine that actually, this machine here forms the bag as it goes through here, fills, the cow manure gets measured, drops
like
in
a
the
weight
bag.
measure or something?
It's actually a volume measure.
Okay.
And then fills the bag, seals the top of the bag, and we do run it over a scale as it heads to the palletizer.
Have like a heat seal or something that go across, or
It's a hot air sealer
hot air sealer? All right.
that heats the part of the plastic bag up and then seals it together.
Wow. Kind of like welding it almost. And so that'll hold that through there, and then it goes over. I see a lot of conveyor belts here.
Yes, then you'll see it go along the conveyor from the Hamer machine to the palletizer. We run it through a flattener.
A flattener? Okay.
So that smooths the bag out, levels it, flattens it, so it makes a better stack on the pallet. It does go over a scale, and if the bag is opened or light, the scale will drop it out. If not, if it's a good bag, then it goes straight to the palletizer where it's formed on layers.
Now, I saw most of them all go through, so they must have all been pretty correct.
Yes, the machine does a really good job, consistent job, and our operators do a really good job of keeping the machine tuned up. Once they're there, that gets wrapped with stretch wrap.
All the way around the pallet.
Has a top put on it so that it won't get wet in the rain or wet in storage. And then it's ready to get put on a truck.
And from here, I see you've got great big semis coming in during the day, during the week, almost nonstop, it seems.
Yes, yep. Lowe's keeps us really busy, especially this time of year. Home Depot. We have some stores that have sold Black Kow for 45 years, all over the Southeast. And they all will buy it by the truckload and have it ready for sale.
I know I was at one of the home shows and the guy came up and he said, you know, way back his dad was selling the product at their nursery, and it must have been, 30 or 40 years ago. And he says, I love the product. He says, and when I smell a little bit of manure, he says, it smells like money. And I thought, well, see, if you're selling at your nursery, it's another extra thing that you know that you're going to send the homeowner off with something that's going to do well for him.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who've used Black Kow for years and years, and once they've tried it and seen the results, luckily for us, they keep coming back.
Now, Michael, we're at the final stages. We've seen the machinery take it from the hopper to your conveyor belts to being put in the bags, and now I see you've got, how many bags do we have back here?
We should have about 7,000 pallets.
7,000 pallets.
So 400,000
bags. Now you say that's good for what, a month?
We'll ship those in the next month to places all over the Southeast. North Carolina, Tennessee, all the way out to Louisiana.
Now you mentioned Home Depot, you mentioned Lowe's, I guess all the independents. I see it almost every garden supply store I've seen seems to have your product, and that's a good thing.
Yes, that's a great thing.
That's a wonderful thing. So if folks say, well, you can get it here or you can get it there, wherever wherever the store is closest to you that you like, that's where you'll pick up your product.
Yes. If a store wants to sell consumers the best cow manure that's fully composted and ready to grow, ready to make soil better, they'll sell Black Kow.
In fact, we like it when they come up and say, hey, we saw it on the Ask Mr. Greenthumb show, and we demand that you have the Black Kow cow manure. So, and I'm sure too, when they do ask for your product, they go, hey, we better have that Black Kow on hand.
Yes, so we're ready to ship it every day. We have a lot of people working hard 12 hours a day right now to keep it ready to go.
That's impressive.
And make it.
I saw you have a whole crew, and they all seem to know their job, and they're all doing it, which is made for a good impression upon me.
Yes, they do. We have a lot of people that work hard and a lot of people that do a lot of good jobs.
I noticed from your good office staff to Jody to your sis, everybody seems to be saying, hey, we all push the car in the same direction.
Yes.
And that's a really good thing.
Well, in closing on this particular show, I thought it was really interesting that we got to go down there and meet with Michael, and I thought some of the questions you asked and really helped the audience have a better understanding of the effort and labor that goes in to make such a wonderful product.
Oh, it was very well explained, and I thought we got to see all the great machinery and the whole process. I think it's really exciting to see how something comes from nothing to something, and I thought he did a great job.
Absolutely.